Welcome to Crypto Bytes, the podcast where we find today's news and information in the crypto space and break it down into bite-sized chunks. I'm your host, Nick.
And this is Rob.
And remember, this is not financial advice.
But here's some general advice. Stand 20 feet away when you're dealing with wasps.
Or, you can go at it with a bat and take care of the problem all in one go.
No, don't go at it with a bat. Before we start, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button, smash a like, and ping that bell. All right, so if you woke up this morning or, saw anything about Cardano, you noticed the price drop. What causes price drop? FUD.
FUD and what?
FUD and concurrency. Big word of the day, of the week. If you guys don't know what concurrency is.
Well, what is concurrency?
Well, we'll get into that. But let's just go through this story here. So, as we all know, September 1st, smart contracts was initiated on the testnet on Cardano. It only took, let's just say, 3 to 4 days before the FUD started to hit the wires. So we're hearing news on these first dApps and DEXs and how they can only process one transaction per block. Now, this has to do with the UTXO limitations on Cardano. So we have projects like SundaeSwap, ErgoDex, MiniSwap, and Akamfi. They've all reported having issues, or people that reporting having issues with their testing process. Now, they've all implemented their own solutions to this problem.
Right.
But concurrency, to answer your question, what is it? Well, it's the ability of different parts of units or a program or an algorithm to be used, executed out of order at the same time without affecting the final outcome. Now, how does it affect Cardano? Well, it's how they use UTXOs. UTXOs, you can think of it as a linear way of getting a smart contract completed. So UTXOs they govern the conditions of which how UTXOs are utilized.
Okay, like triggers.
Yeah, exactly. So you can think of it like on Cardano, you have 20 different people lined up to use one vending machine, right? Person A has to put his coins in, and then it changes the condition of the contract, and then it gives it over to person B. He puts his coins in or does whatever, and does it satisfy the contract? Yes, and then the contract is executed. So on Ethereum, there's a global state on these smart contracts.
Global state. You're going to define that for me.
So just think of it like... think of it like the smart contracts in the cloud.
Okay.
And anyone can access it, or everyone can access the smart contract at the same time. When they put a change into that global state, that change gets submitted to the validators to put into the block.
Okay.
Right. It allows multiple people to access that same smart contract concurrently. Unlike Cardano, which it's one at a time. And this caused a lot of FUD, a lot of panic. We saw a price drop. We saw people on the forums. Well, people that were holding Cardano for a long time.
Right.
Saying, what is this? I've never heard about this. The Reddit crowd. People on the other forums basically dunking on the Reddit crowd.
So it sounds to me really what a lot of this is coming from is people wanting Cardano immediately once smart contracts to drop to have the full DeFi experience and everything that Ethereum currently has right now.
Yeah, and it's starting to sound like that won't happen. Charles, obviously, he's trying to put out these fires. He had a live stream immediately, like the next day, on the day we were shooting this, basically going over, and he did a whiteboard on the time frame on when they're going to get concurrency, different solutions that they can have. Basically, again, trying to put out people's fears about concurrency in this FUD. Now, I think he's a smart guy, and I think he does have solutions, and there's different ways for this to solve this problem. As I just mentioned, SundaeSwap has their own solution. Akamfi has their own solution. So, I mean, this problem, I don't think it's a big deal, and I just think it's another way for people to dunk.
It's not a
mainly
big deal.
Mainly ETH people to shit on Cardano.
Well, that's always what it's going to be. You have Ethereum, which is really well established at this point because they decided to put all of this out there and have people work on it. All their bugs are being fixed kind of as it goes, which means that they now have these incredible dApps, these incredible DEXs, this massive library of vibrant NFTs that Cardano just won't have immediately when smart contracts just drop. The smart contract aspect of it has been worked on and peer reviewed for a while now to a completion to where they are really good. But yes, they are missing components that Ethereum has because there's layer 2 solutions that have been built onto Ethereum to make it possible. Will that come to Cardano? Absolutely. But the best thing about it is it's not going to need to look like it did on the Ethereum network. We have solutions in place that are going to make things a lot simpler. Things that are coming just off the top of my head, ADAX, which will allow liquidity to happen. Hydra, which will allow probably a lot of this concurrency to happen. Most likely Hydra is going to be the answer for that. And then you also have solutions where they did also the layer 2 solutions, other developers out there that are going to do that. But the inherent nature of Cardano where these tokens, everything else, they're all native. So it's not going to require a lot of these hackable entries, to get all of these same features going. But you can't expect them to just happen immediately. And here's the kicker. Smart contracts haven't even dropped on main yet. We're talking about smart contracts dropping day 1 on test net.
Yeah, so I think this is the beauty on how they're releasing things on either the testnet or the mainnet, right? There's a 12-day period right now before smart contracts are officially released. This allows anybody and everyone to spin up a testnet node, start playing around with Alonzo and Plutus, and break things and find the flaws and fix them.
In fact, this is a good thing. We want these developers to go out there to make these dApps, to find these flaws, if you will, in all of this so that they can be fixed quicker. However, I wouldn't call a one transaction per block thing a flaw right now. I would say watching a smart contract work to completion is a success. Now let's add in a few more components to watch these things work together and perform in a series of smart contracts to create a DeFi space that is really workable.
Yeah, and this is just FUD. Like I said FUD. Earlier, it's just a way for these ETH people to try to take down Cardano when they know Cardano's going to eat their lunch soon.
Possibly. But proof of stake is a very, very large operation. There's a lot involved technically to make that happen. If you watch Vitalik speak on it, he's mentioned that as well. But the one thing that I will say is that they're able to push out all of these technologies onto Ethereum, and people are playing with it. So we have the ecosystem that we do now. So it makes a project like Cardano very exciting to watch grow, especially when Charles Hoskinson was on the front lines with Vitalik and the 3 other developers to create the original form of Ethereum, albeit some disagreements in place, but it is going to be very exciting to see this move forward.
Oh, yeah, I'm excited to see what's going to happen, well, not only up to the 12th, but after the 12th as well.
Oh, yeah. Especially the 24th is when we have the summit?
Yeah, that's when the Plutus pilot programs, all these projects that IOG and Emergo and that they've funded, they're going to be showcased there. So we're going to see some exciting projects that, for the first time, that no one else outside of this Plutus pilot program have seen.
I say that 3 times fast, Emergo, that's a Japanese company, right?
Yeah, it is. And we're seeing more exchanges in Japan offer Cardano.
Yeah, good on you, Japan. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, so there's a Japanese exchange called Sakura. All right. Apparently it's out of Osaka. And on September 7th, they're going to be offering Cardano.
That's actually really exciting. More countries adopting exchanges.
Yeah, more countries, more exchanges in countries, but it allows people more access to Cardano. And if you were aware of Cardano last year or earlier this year, you know how hard it was to get Cardano. You had to jump to a couple different exchanges just to be able to buy it. Like for me, I mean, you had to go from Coinbase to another exchange just to buy it because Coinbase didn't have it until
Didn't
middle of the
Cardano
year.
release on that like Lithuanian exchange initially, where people could first buy ADA?
Yeah, so I mean that's where ADAX is located. So yeah, I mean there's only a few exchanges that had ADA. Then eventually the market cap started to go bigger, and there was more news, more development on that chain, that more exchanges were offering it, and it was to the point where Cardano was in the top 5 or in the top 3 earlier this year, and it still wasn't on Coinbase.
Well, I think Cardano's lived in like the top 10 of most coin market caps since its like inception for the most part. I don't think it's really ever gone down from there.
Well, this just means that with the more listings, I mean, it could affect the price in a positive direction.
But I'm going to play kind of devil's advocate here. What we're seeing here in the Cardano world is the power of proof of stake and what it can turn into. On the alternative side, proof of stake's coming. It's just a matter of time and which one's going to be able to do it better. We say all of this about Cardano and we say how good it is, but I really don't mention very frequently that Ethereum already has plans to move over to Serenity or Ethereum 2, which is a proof of stake architecture as well. Which could, be the answer if Cardano is not widely accepted by a lot of these, I'm going to call them content creators for now. In that ecosystem, and it truly all just stays on Ethereum, then we're merely just waiting for Serenity to drop. That'd be kind of interesting. But like proof of stake is coming one way or the other. I know I personally stand behind Cardano, but it could be just not adopted and gone to the wayside. Like we really could be seeing the way for Ethereum 2.0.
I mean, yeah, we could, but I think either way, no matter which, if it's proof of stake on Cardano, proof of stake on Ethereum 2.0, there's still regulatory issues
Absolutely.
that face them.
Oh, absolutely. They're going to have to be, because this is going to be what's used for the financial sector. It's not going to be a store of wealth. Like this is where the movement of money is going to happen.
And this is what scares these government agencies. And I'm just picturing that Starship Trooper meme where Doogie Howser goes up to that giant mother hive and he puts his hands on. He's like, it's scared.
I'm sorry, MPH. I know you from better roles than Doogie Howser. I got you, buddy.
He doesn't like being called Doogie Howser, yeah. But essentially, the SEC and the Treasury Department and the Federal Reserve, they're worried about DeFi services on these platforms, whether it's Ethereum or Cardano.
Yeah, I don't think they care about what ecosystem they're going to be using. They just want to make sure they're getting theirs.
Yeah. So the SEC is investigating Uniswap.
Of course they are. They'll investigate you if you try to like go on the side of the street. Yo, I got dollars for ADA. Dollars for ADA.
Yeah.
Get your wallets out.
They're claiming that securities can be traded on these type of platforms and that they have regulatory oversight or jurisdiction on these platforms because of that.
You know what I think is going to ultimately end up happening? I think the decentralized nature of crypto is going to stay just that, decentralized. And I think the SEC and the Fed and any kind of really governing body, what they're going to do is they're going to create the regulatory exchange. Like honestly, that's what it's going to come down to. It's like, oh, you want to play with crypto? By all means, play with all the crypto
but
you
want.
But
You got to do it here.
Yeah, but you got to get your coins from here.
Yeah, it's going to turn into like a New York Stock Exchange, but for crypto. But I found this another thing that's also funny as well. So the CFTC, the Commodities Future Trading Commission, they have jurisdiction over Bitcoin. They're the ones that can offer futures and options contracts and give their blessings on that. They were in a fight with the SEC over who would have jurisdiction over Bitcoin, and they were doing their kind of a Twitter battle between the two heads. I mean, obviously, Bitcoin is it's a commodity. The way it was released. And just everything about it just screams it's a commodity.
Yeah.
Versus how something like Ethereum, when you literally have videos of Vitalik saying that they're going to sell Ethereum to people to fundraise. I mean, that just sounds like it's a security, and that's one of the reasons why the SEC is now looking into Uniswap on Ethereum, and the CFCT is just staying out of it at this time.
I mean, I'm actually surprised that this didn't happen sooner. I think I recently saw that on a daily basis, Ethereum's looking at like 25 billion in transactions
Yeah.
per day.
Yeah, and that's a lot of money that could be made. And when the government wants its cut, it's gonna put its nose in the door, its foot through the door, its nose under the tent, and try to get into that place.
Here's the thing that blows my mind as far as this regard. We're only talking about America. We're not even talking globally here. This is just the agenda of the United States government. This is bigger than us.
Well,
like COVID. It's bigger than one country.
Yeah, it's a whole new industry. We already saw China just try to stop it completely within their jurisdiction, their borders, and it seemed to work. Maybe, who knows? I mean, we just saw a lot of miners move to other jurisdictions where they're more favorable towards Bitcoin mining. And I think it would be a misstep for the U.S. government to try to do the same. And if the SEC steps in, it might just make it more legit, which means that more companies, more big money bags are going to go into it as a mean of investing.
They're going to have to. No, you can't really ignore this anymore. Cryptocurrency isn't just some kid's game now. This is real money being made. People are passing by. Just look at the sheer volume of NFTs going through. How much money passes through there. You can't ignore this.
Yeah, and just take a look at what happened earlier this year with AMC and GME. There was a lot of controversy over payment for order flow and who has this information and naked shorting. You can't really do that with cryptocurrency. You can use leverage, and that was one of the biggest FUDs earlier this year, along with energy consumption towards Bitcoin of what's really propping up this market. But the yield you can get on some of these coins is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And right now, I mean, if you put your money in the bank, you're getting like not even 1%. Maybe you're getting like, no, it's not even, you're getting nothing. Why would anybody want to hold cash in their bank account when they can put it on a yield exchange or something that just gives you like not 20%. It could give you 20%, but let's just say Cardano, 5% a year. That's way more than putting in a savings account in the bank. And this is what scares the Federal Reserve with cryptocurrency. They're going to be, I mean, they have the monopoly on printing the US dollar or having the world reserve currency. That's taking away their power, and it's decentralizing it among all these different coins and projects.
Sadly.
Well, I mean, here's I think a good quote. All right. No king reigns forever.
Yeah, but sometimes, those kings, the empires that they've built control quite a bit, and they're interconnecting. And, if it falls, which most inevitably will, what goes with it and what takes its place?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what that would be. There is a vacuum. And when there's a vacuum, something's going to fill the void, whether it's good or bad. I don't know.
And I guess that's the fun thing about the decentralized nature of cryptocurrency is that when done correctly, the real power behind it cannot be controlled by any one entity. And if a single government does have control of a cryptocurrency, there's bigger problems that already happen. This country's been vying for control of the world at this point, and the rest of the world should take note and do something about it.
Right. So if they can actually propose or push good legislation, unlike this terrible legislation that was just passed that I'm sure you guys know about with the definitions on what a broker is, they can actually foster a good ecosystem for development and maybe a new gold rush.
Let's be honest here. I have zero hope in any of this, and this is merely due to look what they did to every industry when pirating was huge. When we all found out how to use the internet to get music and videos and everything like that, they didn't immediately revamp how it all worked to make it more seamless and make it easier and for them to get their cut. No, what they did was they criminalized a lot of this, and they spent a lot of money in areas where they really didn't need to, and a lot of frivolous lawsuits that happen. So I don't have any high hopes that they're going to put legislation there in place, especially when we're talking about direct money to the Fed rather than the indirect taxes that come from movie payments and stuff.
Well, I like to think of it this way. We've all heard this term last year and earlier this year, democratize, right? We saw it with Robinhood. We're going to democratize the markets. Well, I mean, all these different monetary policies that are coming out on these smart contracts, it allows people to choose which monetary policy they want to have.
Very true.
Unlike the Federal Reserve monetary
very true.
policy, which is, it used to be, 2% inflation. They changed it to an average of 2% inflation during a given time period. And now they're just printing money, helicopter money. Like,
Yeah.
what is the value of the dollar at this point, especially with what happened, global news recently?
I don't want to speculate on that because it makes me sad.
So Bitcoin, its monetary policy is 21 million. That's it. 21 million coins. That's a pretty good monetary policy. Or for Cardano, I mean, there's like a few billion coins, but if you take a look at the Lovelace, it's 20 times more the amount of Lovelaces to Satoshis, and it's set. You can take a look at the monetary policy for Ethereum if you like that monetary policy. I mean, it allows you to preserve your buying power if we're going into this metaverse era.
Yeah, that's true. It does allow you to retain your buying power. But what are you buying when we're going into the metaverse at that point? Like, it comes down to how much these institutions are actually going to be using cryptocurrency for moving money. Like, I know a lot of these chains were created for a specific purpose, like bank-to-bank transfers of money and stuff like that to make it go by quicker. But now we're talking about decentralized finance. We're talking about real loans, yield farming. People are making real money in various aspects of this. And with DeFi the way that it is, and smart contracts becoming more and more sophisticated, and then different layers being able to deal with smart contracts even better to allow them to work in better ways. We're talking about an industry that could blow up something bigger than the banking industry.
Yeah, well, I mean,
digital scarcity, real digital ownership without needing something in the physical world like a title to your car or the deed to your house.
Well, in the metaverse, it'll be just like maybe driving to Chase Bank. If you bank with Chase Bank or Wells Fargo or Bank of America, those would be the different smart contracts that you can do your banking with or do your yield farming with or do your trading with. It's all going to be on the metaverse. And yeah, eventually they start out with like we're going to do this thing here. And then eventually it will evolve into, well, we can actually do more than one thing. Or there's going to be other smart contracts that will do another thing better than whatever it is that you'd want. It's
funny. I just came to the realization that like the metaverse is here. We're just now giving it a new name. Right now we call it the Internet of Things, but it's just going to get bigger. And it's no longer going to be an internet of just things. It's going to be a second parallel world. Like we call it the internet right now. It started with basic email and everything like that, but it's getting so much bigger. Different
exactly.
Parallel digital world.
Yeah.
Right now we're in the Internet of Things. I'll bet some of you watching right now have a toaster or a refrigerator connected to your Wi-Fi. Does it tell you when your milk's running low?
Well, it will in the future. But this is what we're seeing in this current market cycle, in the current cryptocurrency market cycle, right? So back in 2017, it was the ICO craze, right? Ethereum allowed people to print or to code their own different monetary policies or their own cryptocurrencies. Binance came out of that with their own chain, their own smart contracts. And we're seeing NFTs, I think, driving the market up because that would be part of the metaverse and people are going to want to get in early. We see platforms like Tezos and they have NFTs on there.
Yeah.
That's why we see the price of Tezos go from like $250 up to in the mid fives.
Yeah, that's true. And right now NFTs are still used in their most basic sense, like as collectibles. They're moving through the Ethereum market because these artists are going to make a significant more in fiat by creating their NFT and selling it that way than they are through like a Tezo or even an ADA right now.
The more of the term metaverse and what that means gets ingrained into the human consciousness, they will realize, wow, NFTs they're going to be the future and you got to invest now. Yeah. Because we already saw what happened with CryptoBytes. I mean, they were free.
CryptoPunks.
Yeah.
CryptoPunks. But keep watching the CryptoBytes.
A Freudian slip. Yeah. they were given out for free and now they're going for $1 million and whatever that is in ETH.
What's crazy is, and it's really just for the collectible aspect. Like they're nothing more than a collectible, but when we're talking 10, 15 years from now, when NFTs are used for something more, like let's say Cardano's vision comes true and you've got your personal identification and job history, educational history available on the blockchain to whatever body needs it, and it's yours. You're going to look back at this NFT and go, hey guys, check it out. This was it. This was the infantile NFT. This is what started it all.
Yeah, this NFT rally, I think it's only going to get bigger.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, the NFT, I personally believe that NFTs themselves will single-handedly push whichever smart contract chain, whichever smart contract-based blockchain survives and wins all of this to the top, will become like the dominant player for usability. I still believe Bitcoin will always be like digital gold. It'll be that store of wealth, but whichever smart contract blockchain really takes over, it's going to be the NFT marketplace that decides which one's going to blow it up.
Yeah, over this past summer, the talking heads on the TV, they were talking about DeFi summer. Well, NFTs were part of that. And now we're seeing a bigger influence of NFTs on the market. So, DeFi summer was the primer. NFT mania we're not even there yet, but we're getting to the consciousness level.
We're definitely not there yet. I'll figure we get there. I'll know we're there when I turn on the news and the news anchor's talking about his new collection, and he's pulling up his phone and they show the little AR thing on screen. Click, boom, things break really quick. That's when I'll know.
Hey guys, check us out on Twitter at Argyros Crypto.
Remember, we run a Cardano stake pool, ticker AGC.
Hit the like.
Smash that subscribe.
And ping the bell, guys. See you next time.
Adios.
Should we do that?